Unity of Houston is an inclusive church where we seek to understand and live the teachings of Jesus and other spiritual masters. At Unity, we welcome all people from all spiritual paths and every walk of life. We celebrate the diversity of our city and of our world, and we teach love, tolerance, and oneness, seeking to live in harmony with open minds and open hearts.
Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome at Unity. Join us and discover that the life of your dreams is already within you.
So thank you for joining us this evening. I wanted to speak on the art of getting along, because it's a topic that is always before us, isn't it? It means exactly what you think it means. It means getting along with other people. People, right? Can't live with them, can't live without them, you know? It's like you gotta love them, right? Or do you? I mean, do you really? We're supposed to. But how? That's the thing, right? So I have a few things I have learned in my own life that I use as a touchstone. So I'm just going to share my own cheat sheet with you. This is not an exhaustive list. It is not all the wise tips you could ever get, but they are a good start if you need a couple of new ones. How about that? So the one that I often find myself returning to, and in the same way that we do meditation, where I'm sure for the last 15 or 20 minutes, you haven't been just sitting in supreme light and love probably the entire time. You probably did what we all do, which is kind of a back and forth, kind of find yourself making your laundry, your grocery list, and then remember you're supposed to be meditating and you come back, or, worried about a problem, or wonder if you actually did do that thing that you were supposed to do or not, or, whatever. And then remember you're meditating and come back. The same thing is true about our behavior and about our spiritual practice, whether it's in meditation or whether it's our waking life. We're always needing to come and go back and forth between forgetting and remembering, forgetting and remembering. And so the thing that always matters to me, and the place I like to go, is to first ask myself to remember who I am. To know who you are is one of the first spiritual practices you can do for yourself. To know who you are and who you aren't. Because otherwise, how can you be who you are if you don't know the answer to those two questions, or at least a beginning set of answers to those questions? Who are you? What are your gifts? What is your purpose? What do you love to do? Who do you want in your life? How do you respond to life? All the things that make you you, that you know about yourself. Your favorite fill in the blank, everything. Flavor, color, ice cream, music, whatever it is. And also who you aren't. What are your weaknesses that do not define you, but continue to challenge you, continue to create conflict or drama or challenge in your life in some kind of way? You're not that, and yet you're working on it, right? We all have our list we're working on. There's always something that's up for us. So knowing where you're fragile and also where you're strong. But the truth is that beneath both of those changing things, aspects of you, is the fact that you are flowing love and flowing life. And that is ever the truth of you. And I don't have to know your answer to all your other questions, your favorite anythings, or the places where you're weak, to know that you are flowing love and flowing life. And every time we remember that, it gives us a spaciousness and a universal context for whatever thing is going on in our life right now. When we can scale back and remember who I really am and what I'm really here to do or to be, and I identify with that, then I can put this into context and imagine a way around this, a way for me to re-see this thing that's upsetting me in the moment. Flowing with your love and life, and that peace is ever within you. You know how we always think that peace is something we achieve, or something we get, or something we do, or something, we make happen, or something. But I'm just going to tell you, the only thing we ever do is fall back into it. It is the only thing we can do, because it is ever within us, and it is always at the depth of every living moment. It is underneath all this drama, all this stuff, all this mess, right? Things that keep us whirly-gigging around, and all the things on our phone, or our iPad, or whatever. And when we put all that aside, what's really underneath all of it, when we get quiet, and when we get still, and when we get centered, and when we just stop. That's peace. And nothing outside of us has to change to tap into that. You always are sitting on endless peace. Peace is surrounding you in every moment. So knowing who you are and knowing who you really are will help you to stay true to that when you are confused and in upset. To know where you end and other people start is another thing. We call that boundaries, yes, and those can slide around depending on who it is you're in relationship with and who should be in your life and probably who shouldn't be anymore. But as you make those choices and as you decide how far you go and where someone else starts, that's the place where we start to learn how to give and take with others, and how to give people space, and how to ask for space ourselves in our own lives, knowing what it is that we need. Knowing where you end and other people start is it's a part of parenting, it's a part of relationships, and it's a part of leadership as well. And the reason I say that is because I'll tell you a quick story. When I was in ministerial school, there was a gentleman who was from India. His name was Tong Loya. Did you know him? Yeah. And he was actually the spiritual leader of a church in India that was 5,000 strong, I believe. She visited. Mindy was in India for many years, and she saw his church. I'd only heard of him. Well, we were going for a walk one day, and he was telling a story about his father, who had started the church, I believe, and how as he was coming up and starting to become ready to take over that church, the leadership of the church, he asked his father, he said, "How do you deal with all these people? They come at you all the time. They're upset. They're angry. They want this. They have demands on you." He says, "I don't know if I can do this work." And his father said, "I'll tell you a secret," he said. "Always carry a straight stick." So Tong Loya was like, "Father, what do you mean a straight stick?" And he said, "Well," he said, "when people come at you and ask you things and need things and want things, they're coming at you with their crooked sticks. Their sticks have a hook on them." And he said, what they're trying to do is they're trying to engage you. They're trying to pull at your stick. But he says, if I have a straight stick, they can't ever get me. They can't ever hang me up. It's keeping your stick straight and without drama, without confusion or looking for being defensive on your part, anything that would cause an upset. Your job is always to be Find the place where you can be at peace, where you can relax, where you can rest, where you can see differently, where you can let people be what they are without you needing to be engaged with that. Carrying a straight stick. It will mean different things depending on who you're dealing with, and it will mean different things depending on what your skill sets are and what your weaknesses are. Therefore, refer to number 1. Know who you are and know who you're not. Carry a straight stick. How to manage relationships from your side of the street? This is the thing. Always mind your own side of the street. That's the first thing that will help you get along with others, because if you start trying to figure out what other people need in their spiritual life, in their emotional life, what would make their lives better, you wear yourself out unless they ask you, unless they really want to know. Your job is to take care of your side of the street. And so one way to do that is taking a look at how it is that you're showing up, and when you make a mistake, when you step in it, when you make upset somebody, and you realize you have a part in this, that you have something going on there, admit it as soon as you can. No matter how long it takes, admit it as soon as you can, to yourself first. Honesty with yourself is first, and then make amends. Return to love. Find a way to love. Find a way to genuinely apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I acted the way I acted. Not I'm sorry you took it that way. I'm sorry you were offended. I don't know how that happened, but I say it all the time and nobody gets offended. It's really about how do you own it and mean it, because you care about this relationship and you want to mend it. And so admit it as soon as possible and return to love. And that means love for yourself too. It's the most loving thing you can do, is to release yourself, is to forgive yourself and not continuously suffer with it. Check in with your intention from time to time. How is it you want? Are you showing up the way you want to show up? Are you saying things the way you want to say them? Are you being true to your commitments and to the relationships in your life? Are you spending time with the people that matter the most to you? Are you making time for them? Are you finding ways for yourself to be in accordance with your own values and your own priorities? If not, make adjustments. Admit it. Make some changes, a little bit at a time. Do it with great love and patience and tolerance for yourself. Don't worry about your reputation. How many times have we worried that other people are going to tell other people about us or say things about us? And so it's really important that we control that relationship or that person, or that we adjust that their understanding of things, because it's our reputation that's at stake. I think sometimes we feel that somehow other people can mess up our reputation when the only person who can do that is us. The only thing you can do is live your reputation. Just live with your choices and clean up your own mistakes and your own messes as soon as you can. That's all that's asked of you. That's really more than most people manage to do in their life. We can name a few, can't we? Don't worry about that, and find a way to let go no matter what is happening in your life or what's happening with others. Find a way to let go of the judgment. Let go of the thing that irritates you. Let go of the repetition. Let go of the disappointment. Let go of that. And find a way back to love. And if your love finally takes you into realizing this person is not really who you thought they were, or good in your life anymore, or more trouble than they're worth, or not for you. Maybe you've outgrown them. Maybe maybe it's just time to set a boundary further away, then you do that with love and firmness, because that's loving too. That allows them to be freed and allows them to face the reality and the consequences of their behavior or action or something, and give them a chance to reconsider as well. Find a way to let go and get back to love, no matter what it is, no matter who it is that's in your life. There are some people that are just too hard to get along with, you might say. Some things you just can't forgive. Some things are just too hard. Then I'm going to invite you to listen to this story. This comes from Tattoos on the Heart. This is a story told by Father Gregory Boyle, who's a Jesuit priest in Los Angeles who over 30 years has been working with former gang members and helping them get on their feet and live productive lives, get education and that sort of thing, and he loves them dearly with all his heart. This is a story where this gentleman who was a former gang member, his name was Clever, this is his nickname. Clever seems eager to begin at Homeboy Silkscreen, which is one of their businesses that he's employed at. And at 22 years old, he's assured me he's ready to retire his jersey from the barrio. He moves with me easily through the factory, shaking hands cheerfully with those printing shirts, or catching them as they are spit through the conveyor belt dryer. Even enemies he greets and looks them in the eye. See, former gang members are all about, and they're different gangs, and they can all be in this one place, trying to earn some money and trying to change their lives. Until he turns a corner and sees Travieso, a 24-year-old from an enemy hood. In unison, they stare instantly at their feet, and some mumbling takes place. And there's a great mutual shifting of body weight. They do not shake hands, and I think, man, he's just finished shaking hands with all sorts of enemies, but not this one. I discover sometime later that the hatred they hold for each other is profundo, which is deep. Not only is this a neighborhood pedo, this is also personal. Something has transpired between them, and the breach is beyond repair. I can sense this much in the moment, even before the details get filled in later. Their eyes are still epoxied to their Nike Cortezes. Look, I tell them, if you can't hang working together, please let me know now. I got a grip of homies who would love to have this jale, he said. They say nothing, so that's that for the time being. 6 months later, Travieso finds himself surrounded in an alley, greatly outnumbered by members of an enemy gang who beat him up badly. And while he's lying there, they won't stop kicking his head until he's still and lifeless, and then they leave him. Someone gets to him and takes him to White Memorial Hospital, where he's declared brain dead and left on life support. The doctors wait for 48 hours to secure a flat reading, and then they can officially declare him deceased. This allows time for the relatives to journey to Los Angeles. I'm speaking at St. Louis University, and I fly home. I've seen a great deal of horrifying things in my life, but nothing like this. The sight of a wonderfully gentle-souled kid. And the damage is breathtaking. I can barely take my eyes off of him as I smear sacred oil on his forehead, and we say goodbye in the pull of a plug. In those first 24 hours after his death, I'm in my office late at night, and the phone rings. It's Clever. Hey, he begins awkwardly. That's messed up, man. About what happened at Travieso. Yeah, it is, I say to him, brought back to the hollow area of my soul which this sadness has carved. Is there anything I can do? Clever asks with oddly high energy. Can I give him my blood? This last offer sucks the breathable air out of the atmosphere for both of us. We can each feel the other tremble in silence. Clever takes the lead and punctures the quiet with great resolve and unprotected tears. He was not my enemy. He was my friend. We worked together. Father Boyle invites us to close both our eyes and see with the other one. Then we are no longer saddled by the burden of our persistent judgments, our ceaseless withholding, our constant exclusion. Our sphere has widened, and we find ourselves quite unexpectedly in a new, expansive location, in a place of endless acceptance and infinite love. We've wandered into God's own jurisdiction. We can't know the depth of human suffering or loss. We only know our own. We only know what we know and what we've experienced. But there are countless stories where human beings have made hard journeys back from terrible places and losses and found ways to love again and to forgive and to see a friend where the worst enemy once stood. We can do this because we are free, flowing life, love, and peace. The art of getting along is just remembering that real love is the only power we have. So why not use it? God bless you all.
Thank you for watching this message today. I'd like to invite you to join us in person here on campus at Unity of Houston for Sunday morning or Wednesday evening services. If you can't be with us here on our campus, you can still join us live on Facebook or on our website, unityhouston.org, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Central.